Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel again. In this video I'm going to show you how we can use web application with Firebase and Python. So if you are looking for an easiest way to make your authentication better, to remove that burden of how do I create authentication and all of that. So I made this talk in Google I/O Ogbomoso, Akintola University Ogbomoso, and I'm going to do a video of what that talk is all about. And in this video I'm going to explain everything that you need to know about how to integrate Firebase with Python. So we're going to build a project with Django and then integrate a backend to it. So yeah, let's go. So the first thing we need to know is, who am I? Okay, so I'm going to introduce, in this section I'm going to introduce you to how Firebase services can be combined with Python backend to build powerful, scalable and future rich web applications. So Firebase offers a suite of cloud-based services that streamline the development processes, allowing developers to focus more on building greater user experience and less on managing infrastructure. To be sincere, infrastructure is a big deal. So Firebase helps us to take that burden away. Alright, so who am I? So like I said, my name is Jacob. I'm passionate about making programming accessible and fun. And as a seasoned programming tutor and content creator, I've helped learners around the world to learn coding. Alright, so on my YouTube channel you'll find engaging coding tutorials and practical tips. So whether you are a beginner or you are just you just want to try Python out, okay, or you are experienced in Python and you want to learn machine learning, I got you covered. Alright, so that is me. Then what are we going to be discussing? I'm going to show you how to set up Firebase project. I'm going to show you how to create a new Django project. I'm going to show you how to set up Firebase admin SDK. Okay, then I'm going to show you how to implement authentication views, display code, live demo, and then how to test those APIs with a Postman, and then we'll go into question and answer, and then we'll wrap up. Okay, yes, let's go. So what are we doing here? We're going to be talking about Firebase, and then we're going to be talking about Django Rest Framework. Now Firebase is a platform developed by Google for creating mobile and web application. It provides a variety of tools and services to help developers build high quality applications, including real-time database, authentication, analytics, and what more. Alright, so and then Django on the other hand is a powerful and flexible toolkit for building web APIs in Django. So it makes it easy to create APIs that can handle serialization, authentication, and other tasks needed for RESTful services. Alright, so these are the two different things that we're going to bring together to what, to create something. Alright, so I will be demonstrating how to integrate Firebase authentication with Django Rest Framework to create sign up, sign in, and log out functionality. And the goal of this video is to show you how to leverage Firebase authentication capacity. Okay, how to leverage. So the goal of this video is to show you how you can leverage Firebase authentication capabilities in Django project to manage user authentication securely and efficiently. Alright, so my goal is to show you how you can leverage Firebase authentication capabilities in your Django project to manage user authentication securely and what, efficiently. Alright, so now what are we going to do? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a Firebase. Okay, how do we set up Firebase? We're going to navigate to Firebase console, create a new project, enable authentication services. Alright, so let's follow it one after the other. Alright, yeah, okay, so let's do it. So I'm going to go into escape. All right, so while we are here, okay, so we are in Firebase. I just search for Firebase, so click here and open Firebase. So let's load. All right, so now that it has loaded, so we click on get started. You can click on go to console or get started. Now I want to change the email. Okay, so still loading, so let's allow it to load because I want to change. All right, so now that we are here, so I can now click on get started. Okay, or I can click on get console and all of that. So click on get started, so it's going to take me to where I will do all the necessary setup. So what do I need to do here? Let's allow it to load now, so it will bring you here. But one thing you must know is I have not set up any Django project, any Firebase project here before, and that's why it's clean. This is a clean slate, meaning this email has not been used to set up Django before. So if you are just starting, you will see something like this. But if you have a project that has been built with Firebase on this email, you will see something here. Alright, so I'll click on get started with a Firebase project, and then it's going to ask me what do I want to do. So I'll do Django Firebase demo, Django Firebase dash demo. So I'll do it like this. Okay, Django, Django Firebase demo, something like this. You can name it anything you want. I want to accept the terms and conditions of Firebase. Then I want to confirm that I will use Firebase exclusively for this purpose. Okay. Now you can also add it to cloud project. Okay, you can add cloud to cloud project, but we're not doing that right now. So let's just continue. Then automatically you can add Google Analytics to this project. So what Google Analytics do is it record interactions and actions within the project. So we click on continue, and then what's the analytic location? So I can pick USA. Okay, but currently I'm in Nigeria. Okay, but since I love United Kingdom because I want to be there. Yes, so we can choose United Kingdom, create project. All right, okay, so while it's preparing our project, we can still wait, drink water if you have to. Okay, so since our project is ready, so we can click on continue, and here we are. All right, so now that we are here, the first thing that we need to do now is to set up our SDK. So let's go back to the slide. So now we have created, okay, so we have enabled, so we need to create a new project. We have done that. Then we need to authenticate and configure the sign-in method that we want. We are going to go into the build, come here and select web. Okay, so if you are building an Android for iOS or Android, an application for iOS or Android, you can select, but for now we are going for build web, so we can choose web. So I'll choose authentication here under this authentication. Okay, so now this is where you are going to select the sign-in method that you want user to take. Okay, so authentication and manage user from a variety of provider without server-side code. So you don't need to write all of that. All right, so you have to select them here. So that's what we want to do now. Now what do we want? So this is where you can set it. You can set it that users to use their email and password, Google authentication, Facebook, play games, GitHub, Yahoo. So you can use any of these to allow users to sign in. So what we basically need is just email and password. So we want users to provide their email and password at the point of signing in and logging in. So we want to be able to also send email. So that this will also require another level of configuration. So we will not want that. So let's just go for just the basic. So this is just a basic demonstration. So we'll just allow users to provide their email and password. So we save, and then once we save, we can now go back. All right, so once we save like this, we have been able to select the method of what authenticating our user. Now what is the next thing? Now we now go to project settings, services account, and generate our private keys. Alright, so after setting up our email and password method of authenticating users, the next thing is we have to go back to our dashboard, and then this is where we're going to set up our SDK and generate our keys. So what's the name of our web app? So now if you want to host your web services, you can also check this. Okay, so what this means is that at the end of the day, you are going to host your web service on Firebase. All right, so we register. Okay, and once that is done, so we go to adding our SDK. So using npm, or we use tag. Okay, so we're going to use tag because we need this configuration script. So I'm going to copy it. Okay, all right, so now I've already installed. Okay, so let me just copy it. Okay, and let me open a text file. So I'm going to copy. All right, copy this like this and save it here for now. Now that we've done that, I'll now continue to console. So we have been able to set up our authentication and also generate our SDK. Okay, so generate new private keys. Okay, now we need to download our service key. Okay, coming. Okay, so now that we have added our Firebase to our project, now let us now continue to set up the SDK. Okay, so here once we get to project settings like this, all right, we get to project settings, we can come to service account. Okay, under the service account, this is where we will delete. Okay, so now I'm going to do this. I'm going to use a Python. All right, so I'm going to use Python. Okay, so because I'm going to use Python, I'll select it. If you are using Go, Java, Node.js, you select it. All right, and then now I'm going to copy this. Okay, we'll see where this is going to be relevant as we go. Then I'll click on generate new keys. Okay, so this private key is what gives access to our project Firebase. So, and it must not be exposed. All right, so let me save this first. Okay, then generate new key. Okay, so the keys have been generated for us. Okay, it has been generated for us, and because it has been generated for us, you can see it here. Okay, so this has to be saved. Okay, so I'll show you how we're going to save it at the end of the day, but for now, so now that we have generated our keys, the next thing is to, now we are done here. Okay, we are done with this step. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be talking about is how to set up Django. I've said this before that you need to clone this repository. Okay, so for you to use, I've already done this. Okay, so you can go to, remember this is a presentation I did, so it's already ready because no time to write all the code and all of that. So yeah, so this is it. You clone the repository like this. Okay, then create a virtual environment. There's already created a virtual environment in this. Okay, or you can create a new one. Then remember I'm using venv. Okay, then you can also activate. If you are on Linux, you can use this command to activate it. If you are on Windows, you can use this to what, to activate it. All right, So there's a mistake here, sorry. This venv is not the name of the env, so the env here is env, not venv. All right, I wish I can correct that. Then after that, we install the requirement and run the server to see how this works. So let's go. Okay, so let's fire up our code, and here we are. All right, here we are in our Django project. Okay, so but before I continue, let me explain what has happened. The readme to this repository has also been edited, so you can take a look at it. So here now, these are the what I've installed. I installed Django, I installed Django Rest Framework, I installed Firebase admin, I installed Google API Python client, so that both of them can communicate, Google Authentication, HTTP, and the rest, all that we need. Okay, I've already installed it. So what you need to do now is, first we are going to activate the virtual environment. So I'll do env script, because I'm on Windows. I'll do env scripts activate like this. So I've activated the virtual environment. So the next thing is to, now that I've activated the virtual environment, the next thing is to install the requirement.txt. Okay, so how do I install it? You have to do something like this. You do pip install, okay, pip install flag r. So you do requirements. Remember, the spelling must be correct. Okay, yes, s.txt. all right, so pip install flag r requirements.txt. so we hit enter. So all of this is going to be installed, and then we now start off from. Okay, so because I've installed it before, so it's already telling me that requirement has already been satisfied. So that's one beautiful thing about Python. So that's one beautiful thing about Python. All right, so it makes everything easy for us, you know. That's why I love Python. I don't know how, I don't need to stress myself. All right, okay, so now that we've been able to install the requirement.txt, meaning that all the necessary packages and library that we need has already been installed. So the next is how our keys that we installed before. Now remember, so let me take you through. When you install Django, you are going to install what we call Django app and Django project. So our project here is the Firebase Django demonstration, just like we said, and then the app here is the account app. All right, and inside here you can find the admin file, the initialization file. So this is just more than initialization, but so since I'm not explaining that, so just know that it's the one that initializes the application. So then there's an application file. Then I created this does not come with the app that I created. I created this file so that I'll be able to have our SDK, our service part declared. I will explain this. All right, then we have the model. The model is where we create the tables and row for our database. All right, then serializer for us to be able to allow to serialize our email and password. Okay, so there's a sign up, there's a sign in, then there's a test py file, then there's a URL. Okay, so under here we created, okay, the sign up, the sign in view, and the login view, the logout view. All right, so this is it. Then we have the views. All right, so this is where we created the sign in view, okay, this logout view, okay, the sign in and the sign up view. All right, so and remember, we are importing from Django Rest Framework. We are using API view, okay, and then we also call response from it. We are also using the status. All right, so that we can use the status code. Then serializer, we are importing our serializer file in this view. okay, view file. Then we are also importing our Firebase admin, okay, from an authentication. So this is a module. This Firebase admin is a module, and inside that module there is an authentication. So it's part of what we installed here. All right, it's part of what we installed here. Then there's Django country authentication for logout as a Django logout. All right. Okay, so that's that. So here is the method that is posting the request that we are making when a user is signing up. Is a request. So when a user enters the email and password, the user is created successfully and it returns a status of 201. All right, and then it return an error in a situation where the user has already been created, or the user the email is not correct. Okay, so it returns that. Then the sign-in method is also there, where we serialize the email and the password. So user sign in successfully when the user enter the correct email and password, and returns an error if the details are incorrect. Then there's a logout view that sent a message that user signed out successfully. Okay, so and it returned a 200 HTTP code. All right, so this is it. Now, so this is it about the app. Now, when we do migration, so anytime you modify your model, so like I said that the model is for what? Is for where we create the database. All right, so we read and write to the database. Okay, but then because we are using a third-party authentication, we don't need Django. All right, we don't need Django. We don't need to declare models. Okay, and the field, we don't need to declare all of that because we are using what? Firebase. So all of that has been taken away. All right, so we don't need to create all of that. So, and because we don't need to create all of that, we only need to make a migration, and that is why you must be connected to what? Internet. Don't forget it. You must be connected to internet so that you can run migrations. All right, then this is it. Okay, then the project will contain your settings. Okay, so inside these settings we have our settings for the project. Okay, debug through allowed host and all of that. So then the account application that we installed must be added to the installed app. The REST framework that we installed must be added to the what? To the installed app. If not, they will not be able to communicate. So this is where all the communication happens. All right, so we created an application called account and we installed REST framework. So you need to add it to an installed app so that communication can exist between both of them. Okay, so remember we are using this is the name of our project. Okay, we are using the Firebase database, so we don't need to set up the database here. All right, then where else? Yes, so we need to declare the Firebase configuration path. All right, so the Firebase certification path, so we need to create this. So I'm going to create a file name, and so this is the code that is going to be. All right, so this is our secret key. Okay, this is our secret key, so we're going to add it here. All right, so this is it, and because we have this, they both can communicate. All right, so now we've done this. Now this must not be what's the word? This must not be exposed. All right, when I deployed this, I deleted the ones I created. So in an event where you are not going to expose your secret keys, what you need to do is to what? You create what we call a .env file. All right, you do something like a .env file. Okay, so inside this .env file is where you hide keys like this. All right, so just because I'm doing demo, I'm not going to add in all of that, but then just know that you can hide your secret key inside a .env file. There are certain things. If we go back to our settings, okay, so you use this the .env to hide this directory. All right, So when you've done that, you can also use the .env to hide this key. This key is very vital, it shouldn't be exposed. Alright, so this is your secret key for your application. It should not be exposed. Alright, so because we are not dealing with deployment and all of that, so I won't go deep into that, but just learn more on how .env works. Alright, you can also check my video. I did a video here on how to set up your .env file in Django. Yes, so check it in the description. There's a video on it here. Okay, so then we have talked about the URL. So now when you create an application and a project, you will need to add the application to the project. So for the URL, all right, so I added the application, which is our account URL. So inside the account, we created the URL file, and then we are referencing that URL file right from what our project. And when you go to the URL in our application, you can see the resource there: sign up endpoint, sign in endpoint, and logout endpoint. All right, so this is it. This is how it works. Okay, so I think that now that we've added that, we can run the server. Let me see. Okay, yeah, so one beautiful thing about Django is that as you are running your server, you can see the error and some of the things that you need to put in place. Okay, so I think we are done. I just think, I don't know, this is code. You can still misbehave, but then let's see. All right, let's see. Okay, yes, we have an error. Okay, no such file or directory as what .json. Okay, it's not seeing it. Okay, it's not seeing it. Okay, now for us to resolve this error, we'll need to do a couple of things. Now this directory is not the best place to put this our JSON file, so we move it to the root. Okay, we move it to the root of our project like this. Okay, so it's now in the root. That's one. Then the name must tally. Okay, the name must tally, it must be the same. So we can't have Django Firebase and then we are having authentication, so the name has to tally. So let's rename it. Okay, remember we can even give it any name of our choice. Okay, we can call it secret keys, whatever, but do not deploy it to Git with it. All right, but let's just have a secret key. Let's just name it secret and capital letter like this, secret underscore keys like this. All right, so when we do like this, okay, and then we hit enter, that means we created it, and then we come here, we can come here and also change the name. Okay, so come here and change the name to secret keys. Then we can also go to our app settings. Where is it? Okay, so this for the file, no, not here, for the Firebase file, and then we change it from Django framework to what? Secret key.json. Okay, like this. Okay, like this. All right, so and then when we save and let's save, it's reloading already. It's loading already. Okay, I hope this works this time around. Okay, so here, so our project is now live and can work. So but before then we have an 18 on applied. We can cancel and do something like this. We can go live, but then we need to do migration. Always do your migration when you modify a model. Always do your migration. Okay, so no, let's not move further. So let's just do the migration before we conclude. So I'll cancel. Let's cancel. All right, so now that I've cancelled, let's now do pip Python. Let's do Python manage.py make migrations like this. Okay, so what we're saying is make migrations Okay, and the migration processes will begin now. Okay, so there's no change detected, so it's still there. So now let us now migrate. So always do migrations before you migrate. All right, so can I do python manage.py migrate like this? Okay, and we hit enter, and the tables can be created on the database. All right, so here everything has been set. Okay, so we can now run our server once again. Okay, and then let us now begin to test the endpoint. Okay, okay, it's loading. Okay, and yes, we are live. So when I hit here, okay, our browser will open like this. Okay, so the API, so now the URL has to be /API sign in. Was that what is there, or sign up? All right, let's do sign up. Hold up. So we hit enter. Okay, and boom, we can now sign in. Okay, so the method get is not allowed, so you are going to use the post method if you are going to do anything. All right, so and because you are doing post method, we can use Postman to test the endpoint. So we can also do sign in. Okay, let's be sure that each of the endpoints are working correctly. Sign up. So we have done sign up. Let's do sign in. Okay, and we hit enter. Okay, and the sign in is also going correctly. And then if we also do logout, let's check logout like this, and we hit enter. So the logout users sign out successfully. So but if we go to our browser, so you can see 301,200. okay, now so when a user sign in, okay, so now it's throwing this because of there are no values provided. So let's go back, let's do this with our Postman, and let's see the result we will have. Okay, so I'm going to copy the URL. I'm going to copy this URL like this, and then go to Postman, and then I'll come and create a new tab like this. And then remember, for the sign up we are using a post, so I'll do sign up, and then I'll do post method. I'll select the post method. Now remember, it's taking a parameter, so if I run it without providing what is needed, so let's run it. Okay, it's going to throw an error. Okay, that you see 400 bad requests. So email, this field is required, password, so email and password is required. So how do we do that? So I'll now do something like this. So when you want to provide the email, you can go to body and click on raw like this, and then create your curly braces like this, and then you can create your email like this. Okay, and then I'll do email, and then I'll provide it. I'll say is like this. Am I correct? Yes, I'm correct. So I'll do is jcb at gmail.com. okay, like this, and then when I close it and I have a comma like this, then I can go to the next one. Okay, and then I'll create another one, password, right? I'll do password. Okay, password. Okay, then what's the password? I just do phone number, so I'll do 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. all right, so and then once I run it, okay, once we run it like this, You see, it said message user created successfully is returning a 201. But if you look at what we did before, when we signed up, it was returning what? It was returning 405. Why? Because no data was provided. Okay, so it returned 400 first time because we did not provide the email and password. Okay, now it's returning 201 because a user has already been created. Now we can also sign in now. Okay, so we can sign in with that email and password again. So I'll copy and then I'll change the sign up to sign in like this. Okay, I'll change it to sign in like this. Okay, yeah, and once I hit enter, okay, so you can see that it's returning successfully, user sign in successfully. This, and then let's change the email. Okay, let's change the email. So it's 90, so let's change the email and let's see. So I'll remove this and then let's try and sign in and see what we got. We get a code error, 400 bad request. So there is no user record for that provided email, and it will show us the email address of the person. Okay, so this is how we can do so. And then because we can also do this, we can also log out now. So we can do API/log out. All right, so once we run it, okay, let's run it. Okay, so we can use the method post when you want to log out. So it's a get method, so we use a get method because you're going to get a token that is generated at the point of logging in. All right, so and destroy it. So that's it basically. All right, so you can see it's returning that the user signed out successfully as returning a 200. Okay, all right, so this is how to create API with Django, and also create the integrate it with Firebase. Okay, so you have to have a Firebase file that is going to contain your credentials. All right, okay, so and then you are going to have so inside this Firebase file you are now going to point it to your secret keys that we downloaded from our service account. So, and the service account must be at the root of the folder, at the root of the files. All right, so this is it. This is how. If you have any question, you have comments, kindly drop it below this video. I'll be there to answer every question that you have. All right, don't forget to like, subscribe to this video. Okay, now yeah, so that is it basically. So we are not live, so I won't be asking for questions and answer, but then I'm open to get feedback from you. Okay, I'm open to get feedback from you, whether you have questions, you have suggestion, you have something to say, you are free. So let me know in the comment section. Thank you.